Hi student, look, we have discussed our chapter real numbers. Till now, in our chapter till now we have discussed about the definition of real numbers. Then we have discussed some about some numbers there. Then we have talking about what real numbers consist of rationals and irrational number. Then we have discussed our fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Then we have solved some problems based on fundamental theorem of arithmetic and also based on the prime factors concept. We have discussed about how can we get find out the HCF and LCM and what is the relationship between the product of HCF, LCM and their numbers between there. Look, in today's class we are going to be discussed with again look in class 9th we have learned about rational numbers as well as irrational number. Now here we are again with revisiting irrational number. In our previous classes all of you have learned about what is irrational number. Then you have learned that a number system which cannot be we cannot be able to be represented in the form of p by q is called what? It's called our irrational numbers. But look, when we are going to talking about the irrational number, there we have any form of p by q, providing that q cannot be equal to 0. In such cases, what we have? We have tell that this is our rational number. Then we have talking about the decimal expansion there. When we are going to talking about decimal expansion there, then look. There is three conditions there. First, when we are going to divide by p by q, then whatever it's having a terminating decimal expansion, first of all, means we are going to divide by any given number. Then what's? It's a terminating decimal means it's completely divided by, or it's any times happen there. It's what? It's a non-terminating and repeating. So suppose we are going to divide by 1 by 3, what we get there? 0.33333 and so on, means non-terminating and repeating there. And the last case is that it's a non-terminating and a non-repeating. What we have discussed in our three cases, we have discussed till now, we have about our decimal expansion. We have seen that in any decimal expansions there is only three cases. First, it's a terminating expansion there, or it's non-terminating and recurring or repeating. Third one is what? It's a non-terminating and non-repeating. Then wherever in third case, when we are going to divide any number p by q, and then any decimal expansion contains a non-terminating and non-repeating, then it forms a what? It's a irrational number there. Then to find out any decimal expansion, it's a rational. It's maybe terminating, or it's maybe non-terminating and repeating. But when we are talking about our irrational numbers, then our decimal expansion is what? It's a non-terminating and non-repeating. Then also there is some general rule when I am going to be again after some questions I am going to prove that any numbers root p is our irrational if our p is what? Prime. In general, our under root p is a irrational number where p is our prime number. Then I am going to be prove this statement after some times, just 5 to 10 minutes back. Then after 5-10 minutes I am going to be prove. Before I am going to prove this statement, first of all, look, we have discussed about irrational numbers. We are going to talking about again revisiting irrational number. We have seen that I am explaining you how can we get our irrational number. Then look, after this discussion, look, we are going to be when we are going to get the concept of rational number. Now look, when we have so that we are going to be first of all introduce one of the theorem before we are going to use to prove that our p is irrational, our root p is irrational when p is prime. Before using this, we are going to be use one of the important theorem is that first of all, look, we are going to prove this theorem, then we are able to prove our given statement. Then look, what is our theorem? Our theorem is that let p be a prime number let p be a prime number if p divides a square if P divides A square, then P divides A, then P divides A, then P divides A, where A is a positive integer, where A is our positive integer. Now look, our A is a positive integer, then if our A is positive integer, then we know that every composite number can be expressed as a what? Yes, product of its prime factor. Then is it our A is any number? Then obviously we can represent in the product of its prime factor. Then what we started in proof for? We start with the same statement. What? We have to start with the product of prime factors. Then what we have? Let the prime fraction of A be. We start with the prime factorization of AB. Let's suppose the prime factors of A is what? Some P1, P2, P3 and Pn. And it's not necessary that all are distinct. Maybe there are some repeated, maybe some primes may be repeated, because when we are going to find out any prime factors, it's not necessary that no prime factors repeated there. Obviously some factors are repeated there, then it's not necessary are all distinct there. You have to be aware that this P1, P2, P3, Pn dot, it's not necessary to that it's all are distinct. Now look, we get A is what? We can write down our A is what? P1, P2, Pn, P3, where our this is what represent, where P1, P2, P3 are primes. We can check where P1, P2 and Pn are primes, and write down not necessary distincts. Not assured means they maybe there would be any repeated prime factor there. Then what is our statement? P be a prime number if P divides A square, then P divides A. Now we have to be prove here. If P divides any A square, then P divides also a number there. Then we have to talking about the A square terms. What is our A square? A square means A into A. What is, we can write down A. What is our A? It's a what? P1, P2, P3 dot dot Pn. Similarly, we can write down here what? P1, P2, Pn. Then what do we have? P1, P1, P1 square, P2 square, P3 square dot 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 Pn square. Now A square, P1 square, P2 square, P3 dot dot Pn square. Now look, P divides A square. It's given there. P divides A square. Now look, we are now come to our statement of fundamental theorem of arithmetic. What it's telling that any number can be written in the product of its prime factors, and factorization is unique apart from order. Now look, we have write down A square equal to P1 square, P2 square, P3 square, Pn square. It's given that P divides A square. P divides A square means this P is one of these. Because our prime fundamental theorem of arithmetic guaranteed that any numbers can be represented in the product of its prime factors, and factorization is unique. If P divides A square, then it means our P is one of them, between them, P1 square, P2 square, P3 square, or Pn square. Look, again I want to say that it's given that P divides A square, we get A square equal to P1 square, P2 square, P3 square, Pn square. Then our fundamental theorem of arithmetic guarantee that this P must be one of them in what? P1, P2 and Pn there. Then P is one of the prime factor of A square. This means P, since P divides A square, then P is one of them. Then P is what? Or P is what? One of the, not the them, one of the prime factors of a square means what is means our p belongs to some p1 p2. Now our p is a member of any of p1 p2, it may be p1 p2 p3. Now p is one of them. Now but our fundamental theorem of arithmetic guarantee that it's a uniqueness part of the fundamental theorem of arithmetic. What do we get here? P is one of p1 p2 p3, p is one of the p1 p2 p3. Then what do we have? Then it means if p one of them is, if p divides a square, p is one of the p1 p2 pn, and obviously p divides a. Here we can mention uniqueness of fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Look, again I am going to revise this theorem because it's important part of the. Look, what do we have in the given statement of theorem? Let p be a prime number. If p divides a square, then p divides a, where a is a positive integer. Then to improving what we take that, let the prime factorization of a be with suppose that if a is any number, we know that any positive natural numbers can be expressed as a product of prime factors. Let's suppose it's n prime factors p1 p2 p3 dot pn with p1 p2 pn are primes and not necessary distance, maybe some repeated there, whatever it is. Now then we are going to have to discuss p divides a square, but then we take a square. A square is what? A into a means p1 p2 pn p dot p1 p2 pn. Mean a square can be written by p1 square p2 square p3 square pn square. Now look, it is given here p divides a square. If our p divides a square means obviously p divides a square means p is belongs to in any one of them. p1 square means p is one of the prime factor of a square because p divides a square. Then p means our p is one of the member of what? p1 p2 pn. Means because our fundamental theorem of arithmetic guarantees that each and every number can be expressed as a product of prime factors, and this is unique apart from order. Means our p is one of them of p1 p2 pn. If p is one of them of p1 p2 pn, then obviously then p divides a. This is the proof of our experiment. Our theorem which we have discussed here. Now look, before proving theorem, we have I am telling that to show if we can show that p is any prime number, then obviously root p is a irrational number. Then look, we are going to be prove that's what I discussed you. If p is a prime number, if p is a prime number, look out, yeah. What do we take? If p is a prime number, then what do we take? We have tell that under root p is a irrational number. If p is a prime number, then under root p is a irrational number. Now look, to prove this, if p a prime number, then root p is a rational number. What we are going to again we are going to be use that if possible. Let suppose that root p is what? We are again are going to use our sometimes we used to prove any problem is by contradiction method. There we are going to apply here our contradiction method. First of all, that we are going to be assume that let possible suppose that root p is a what? It's our rational number. Then after that we are going to be so that what I suppose there it's wrong there. Our assumption is wrong there. Hence our root p is a irrational number. Then we are going to use our contradiction method. We are going to start with if possible. What we take? If possible, let solution for if possible, let under root p be a rational number. If possible, let under root p be a rational number. Then therefore p is equal to some a by b, where a and b are Co-primes. What meanings of co-primes there? A and B. A and B are co-primes. The meaning of that means the HCF of A and B is what? 1. When we are use any two numbers are co-primes to each other, means in simple language its meaning is that the HCF of two numbers is what? 1 there. Now look, B is equal to AB, where A and B are co-primes. Then what we do? We are going to be squaring both sides. What do? Squaring both sides. Now what we have? From here we get A square is equal to P. So we take root P. We have to take root P. And we just get P here. Squaring both sides, P, then we get A square is equal to what? P into B square. Take this one. Now look, our A square is given by P into B square. Then P into means P is a factor of, means P divides A square. Now अभी जस्ट इससे पहले की थ्योरम हमने क्या पढ़ा कि P प्राइम नंबर है, अगर P A स्क्वायर को डिवाइड्स करता है तो P A को भी डिवाइड्स करेगा. देन नाउ इफ P डिवाइड्स A स्क्वायर देन P डिवाइड्स A. Now P divides A means P is a factor of A. Then we can take that. That is, we can take our A is equal to some P into M, where M belongs to I, means where our N is some integer there. Now A is equal to Pm. Now we are going to put the value of A is equal to Pm in equation 1. And what we have? From 1. Now from 1 what we have? P square M square is equal to P into B square. Then we get B square is equal to P into M square. Now from here what we have? P divides B square. This implies P divides B. Now look, P divides A, P divides B, but in starting we have supposed that A and B are co-primes, means there is not a factors of A and B rather than 1 there, but we get the factors of A and B is what? P. What we get that? The factors of A and B is what? P. Then look, what we get there? Therefore what is? P is a factor of, from here, that is, P is a factor of A and B, but A and B are co-primes, hence our supposition is wrong. Under root P is irrational number. Look, we have to prove that. We have starting with what? If P is a prime number, then under root P is a irrational number. What do you have to prove that? If P is our prime number, then under root P is what? A irrational number. Then to prove such types of any problems, what we have to do? We have to start with what? We have to start with our we have to prove it by using our contradiction method. We have start with if possible, let's suppose that we have supposing that root P is not a rational number, it's a rational number there. Then it's a rational, then every rational number can be represented in the form of P by Q. We take A by B because here we get P there. Then under root P is what? A by B, where we take A and B are co-primes, means the HCF of A and B is what? It's a 1 there. Then squaring both sides, we get what? We get P is equal to A square B square. Then cross multiply, we have A square is equal to P into B square. From here we get P divides A square. Recently we have proved that if P divides, P is a prime number, P divides any number A square, then P divides A also. Then P divides A. If P divides A means P is one of the factor of A, then we can take A is equal to P into M, where M is any integer there. Then we have to put the value of A in 1. Then we have P square M square is equal to P into B square. Now after solving we get B square equal to P into M square. Now P divides B square. Then P divides B. Now P is a factor of what we have so there P divides A sorry, and also P divides B, means P divides P is a factor of A and B, means P divides both A and B. Hence our supposition is wrong, because we take A and B are co-primes other than 1, no, not a single number is a factor of A and B. Then what we are supposing starting, that our supposition is wrong there. Hence under root P is what? It's a irrational number. Now look, I hope so all of you understand that. Now we are going to move with next problem. Look, what we have to prove in next problem. Prove that root 2 plus root 3 is a rational number. What do we have to prove that? Root 2 plus root 3 is, what do we have to show here? Root 2 plus root 3 is an irrational number. Again, look, we have to prove that root 2 plus root 3 is an irrational number. But again, we are going to say that we have to prove that root 2 plus root 3 is an irrational number. Then we are going to let possibly suppose that root 2 plus is root 2 plus root 3 is what? It's not rational. Again, we start in let root 2 plus root 3 is not irrational. What the meaning of not irrational means? That is under root 2 plus under root 3 is rational. That is root 2 plus root 3 is a rational. We have supposed that root 2 plus root 3 is rational. Then what we have? Then root 2 plus root 3 is expressed in the form of rational A by B. We can express it in the form of A by B. Also we can take some R there. Just suppose root 2 plus root 3 equal to some R, where our R is a rational number, where R is our any rational number. Now what we do? We are going to squaring both sides. Squaring both sides. Then root 2 plus root 3 whole square is equal to R square. Now we get 2 plus root 3 square is 5 plus 2 root 2 root 3 root 6 equal to R square. Now what we get? What we get is root 6. Then 2 plus 5, what we get? It's a 2 plus 3 plus 2 root 6 equal to R square. Then what we get? When we are going to look what we done there. 2 plus it's a 3 only. Then 3. Then 2 root 6 is equal to 2 plus 3 5. R square minus 5. Then root 6 is what? R square minus 5 by 2. Or we get root 6 is what? R square minus 5 by 2. Now look, since our R is rational, then R square is rational, then R square minus 5 is rational. This implies R square minus 5 by 2 is also rational, because we know that square of any rational number is rational. When we are going to subtract two rational numbers, then we can again get a rational number. When we divide by two rational numbers, then we again get a rational number there. And then now this part, our right hand side part is what? It's R square minus 5 by 2 is what? It's rational. But when we are going to find out the under root of 6, when we are going to find out the value of root 6, what we get there? It's a what? It's a non-terminating and non-decimal expansion there. But our root 6 is what? root 6 is irrational, but our root 6 is irrational, and we show that this is our rational. Means what we show, we are going to show that our irrational is equal to rational. Our root 6 is irrational, our this part is rational. It's never possible that it's not going to possible that any rational number is going to be equal to, we are not going to get any such an example there where is a number is irrational and a number is also rational there. Then means what is this? Since this is our irrational, this is rational, hence under root 2 plus under root 3 is an irrational number, because our supposition is wrong. We suppose that it's a rational number, but it's because any irrational number is not going to be part of a rational number. Then our root 2 plus root 3 is a what? It's an irrational number. Then we are taking another problem to discuss with you. What we take to show that 2 upon 5 root 3 is take another small example. So that now we have to be so that 2 upon 5 root 3, 2 upon 5 root 3 is an irrational number. Okay, now we have to show in rational number. Again we are going to suppose that it's a rational number there. Let 2 upon 5 root 3 is a rational, then 2 upon 5 root 3 is equal to some p by q, because it's a rational number. Then what do we get? So we can write down 5 upon root 3 by 2 is equal to q by p. We are reversing the order there. Now what we get, root 3 is what? 2q upon 5p. Now look, since p by q are rational, then 2 upon 5 into p by q are also rational. It's also rational. Now it's a rational. Our this portion is what? It's a rational. Our right hand side is rational, but our root 3 is a irrational number. Why our root 3 is a rational number? Before we have proved that if p is a prime number, then under root p is what? It's an irrational number. We have just proved that if p is a prime, then under root p is an irrational number. Then if 3 is our prime number, it's a root 3, then root 3 is our rational number. But look, here our left hand side is irrational and our right hand side is rational, means what we assume that 2 by 3 is irrational, it's wrong. Hence 2 upon 5 by root 3 is an irrational number. Look, till now we have discussed the problems. In today's topic we have discuss the topics revisitings of irrational numbers, in which we have described in our earlier classes. All of you have learned about rational and irrational number. We have seen here that any numbers which can be expressed in the form of p by q is what? It's called our rational numbers. If we are not able to show any numbers in the form of p by q, then it's a irrational number there. Then we are talking about the which going to be general expansion form there. Then decimal expansion form, we have discussed that it's when we have any decimal expansion non-terminating and non-repeating, then it's present a rational number. Then we have discussed some theorems and problems. How can we show given numbers of the type of under root a plus under root b or under root a minus root b, or it's under root p where p is prime numbers are irrational number. Then we have discussed today problems. How can we show how can we check the given number is rational or irrational, then it is enough for today class. And then please revise all the problems and revise also, find out solve the similar problems which we have I have discussed today with you. Then thanks to all of you, and if facing any problem in this video, then please ask me in our next online classes. Thanks to all.